And let me send a quick message to everybody.
So what you got going on today? Looking all pretty and got the button on.
Oh, well, I put this sweater on because I was cold and it had Mackenzie's button on there from when she had state championship. So I'm like, I'm still gonna, yeah. And I was up early this morning. We've got 2 events here at the VIP Center today. So I went ahead and got ready and came in. Let's see here. Day 21 is starting. All right, get everybody to a few minutes to jump on. Oh. Doing the water.
That's good. I'm trying. Well, I'm not doing it right now. I'm doing the coffee.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing alternating.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, let me go get some more water. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hello, Miss Pamela.
Good morning.
Good morning. I said I wish I lived closer to you, so
What's
I could
that?
come in. So I could come just give you hugs every now and then.
Well,
Because you
you give
make
me
my
air
day.
hugs. I mean, I'll take your ear hugs.
Okay. Because you
Just
make
keep
me
praying
laugh.
for me, honey.
I do. I am.
Oh my goodness. It's like, whew. Anyway, did you see that Oprah special? Talked about
I
that
saw parts of it that they showed, and I said I was going to go back and look at it.
please do, because that did help me. So to take some of the shame and some of the guilt off of me, identifying obesity as a disease versus, lack of
Mhm.
self-will and self control and all that other stuff. So,
Yeah.
so that helped. Did it
Okay.
change me? Not a whole lot, but but it did. It's getting my mind there. So the other Angie and I connected real well on a lot of things because she was having very, very similar struggles like am having on a regular basis. So yeah, just the community does help. That's why I check in every morning.
Okay, good. Just keep checking in.
Yeah, eventually I'll get there because I'm not giving up hope on me.
Well, don't give up hope. You're the only one
Okay.
that can, yeah, you and God.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I still haven't found the scripture. And I said I was going to go back and look for it. Thank you, Catherine, for printing those scriptures. But it was like the one I was thinking about is when Paul says, "I know the things to do, but
Uh-huh.
yet I don't do."
Yeah.
And and I said I was going to go back and look it up to get it correct. But but it's like, but we press on. I think he says, but you press on to the higher calling.
Right, to the mark of the
Thinking
high
is,
calling. Yes, it does.
yeah,
So
to the
yeah, in
prize,
spite of what all you're struggling with, you keep pushing forward regardless. And then
Yeah, yeah,
eventually your action will catch up with your desires and so on.
yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's in Philippians, but I said I was gonna go back and look for it, but I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't press on to the mark of the high. And that's part of where my struggles are at because I'm always out in the community trying to help and direct people to God and see opportunities and jump on it, even though I might not be mentally ready to do it. So then I
Mhm.
use food as a way to fill the gap of my anxieties and things.
Yeah.
So, or, lack of prepping. But now when I do prep, now I got to, I was being a hypocrite to some degree about it, but I think it really did help. I had all my food. I went into Panera Bread with my lunchbox with all my fruit and all my, preparated and everything. And I was talking to a young lady and she was struggling with her A1C and all that. So I opened my little bag up. See, I got all my all my things right here. Now did I eat it all that day and did like I was supposed to? More likely no, but at least I had it to show as an example. This is what you should be doing. Not saying that I'm always doing it, but this is what you should be doing. So I felt kind of good about that.
That's good. That's actually really good because one of the ways to help yourself be accountable and stay on plan is to actually teach it to others.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think that I do this? I mean, I do it just as much to keep myself accountable as it is to help everybody else stay on track. So, that's the extra step to just start teaching people what you're doing. And by the way, the scripture that talks about, pressing on, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth into those things which are before, pressing toward the mark for the prize of the high calling, that is in Philippians 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Philippians 3 is where.
Yeah, I think I had down here Philippians 3:12, but I was like, I was looking, maybe it was in a different version too, but I was looking for the wording where it says, I know the things to do, but yet,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely Paul's writing. I can't remember exactly
writing.
now.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay, Catherine says Romans 7.
yes. Yeah. Well, so we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. It's already 7 minutes after 8, and I want to be practical today. We need to go ahead and start getting prepared. We're moving right along in our process. It's day 21, so we know that day 24 is a transition time. So I do want to hit on that plan. But before we go there, because we've got a number of ladies on here, I want to get you all to check in, but we're going to do it in breakout rooms so that we can make it a little bit smaller. And here's what I want you to check in on with each other. So hold on just a second. Let me. Can you guys see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I want to do. Let's see. We talk about our pillars, okay? So we know that we've got 4 pillars. We've got emotional. We've got, come on. We've got our mental pillar. We've got our physical pillar. And then we've got our spiritual pillar. I do not like this new whiteboard. And here's the thing. All of these are tied together. They all impact each other. So, for example, if you're feeling very emotional, that's going to bleed over into impacting your mental processing. And when we talk about, just to differentiate between emotional and mental, mental is more about the way that you process your thoughts. All right. It's the way that you think, the patterns that you have in the way that you think. Emotional pillar is really about the way that you're feeling about things. All right. So when you are not feeling good, or you're going through, maybe you are feeling anxious or stressed, or you're feeling discouragement or depression, that is going to have a direct impact on your mental processes and the way that you think about things. And when you're struggling emotionally, your mental processes get very cloudy. Well, also that impacts you physically. So I was talking to my sister-in-law this morning, and she was going through a very emotional situation. I mean, she's a parent of adoptive children, and it's been a struggle, and she had to tell the story to someone, and it just totally depleted her physically. She just felt exhausted after she told the story. Well, the same thing happens to us when we're feeling super emotional about things, or we're having that stress. It has an impact on our physical body, and it actually wears us down to where we're open and vulnerable to sicknesses. And so, and then we have the spiritual pillar. So like when we're feeling emotional or exhausted, guess what? We don't want to go get into our Bible studies. We don't want to, we don't want to talk to God in many cases. I mean, sometimes we might desperately reach out and say, God, help me. I can't do this. But each of these are impacted by each other. And you can do these in any order. If you're having trouble with spiritual connection, you're having some kind of block, guess what? It's going to impact you emotionally, it's going to impact your processes, and it's going to impact you physically. If your physical body, if you're not feeling well, if you're sick, that lessens that will that I heard Pamela talking about earlier. Your will to eat on plan or to manage things, that goes way, way down. So I've felt that myself. My body has gotten worn down just because of like a continued level of stress of managing a lot of things here lately. And so I became vulnerable, and my sinuses, I got a sinus infection and all this, and it all just kind of congeals together. And so last night I went to bed at 7:15. I'm like, okay, I got to give my body some rest. It's screaming right now. I've got to give it some rest. So we have these 4 pillars, and when you get into your breakout, I want you to share with your partner or partners where you are with these 4 personal pillars. And this is going to be a pretty broad conversation, but I also don't want you to just say life sucks, I'm having trouble. If you're having trouble with them, that's fine. I'm having trouble with my emotional pillar. I'm feeling really emotional lately, and so it's driven me to eat more. It's made me feel tired, or I'm not processing as clearly. But the good news is, and then I want you to share what the good news is. All right, so we can't stay on the here's where I'm lacking, here's where it sucks side all the time. We've got to balance it out with, well, here's the good news. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put you into breakouts. All right. So I'm going to Cookie, Irma together, and then Catherine and Pam Robbins, and then Lydia and Pam Perkins. All right, ladies, we're going to give you about 5 or 6 minutes to chat it up, and then we'll come back. Here we go. 1 minute, ladies, 1 minute.
So
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Welcome,
all
back,
good.
ladies. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. That time goes fast, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to share what came up for you as you were talking?
I just see
I'll
the
share
white.
first.
All right, let's go with Pam Robbins first.
Okay. The good
Mhm.
news is they're happy with my weight loss. The good news is there is a new survivorship cancer group intervention, I guess, meeting. It's going to happen in April for 5 weeks on Wednesday nights,
Okay.
which is, I think, an answer to my prayer. I think God made that just for me.
Yeah.
And you know, I haven't lost hope. I was very tired at the end of the day last night, and but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm making myself be here.
It's good. And that is good in itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else is willing to share?
I will share. It's like for me, it is physical. My hip has really been hurting, so the physical is causing some mental, emotional issues. But I have taken action. I got up this morning and I sent an email message to the doctor's office requesting an appointment. So they'll probably call me in a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Catherine,
And then
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and I was going to say with Cookie, it's physical. She's feeling run down, and she was waiting for Catherine to maybe put something out about the chicken broth. But I told her you can do your own chicken broth. You really don't have to get one of to find out what the ingredients are. Just make some chicken, make some
Uh-huh.
stewed chicken, and add vegetables, and you don't have to worry about any of the preservatives and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. All right. Anyone else want to share what came up for you?
I just want to say real quick, Cookie, I will do that research today. I just didn't have a chance yesterday, but thank you for the reminder, Irma. I'll do that for us and just see. Angie was just talking about like if we're not feeling well, because sometimes through this journey, right, there are going to be times where our physical, does become sick. And then if we don't feel like eating, or what do we do? What can we, can it be chicken broth? Can it be bone broth? So I was just kind of going to maybe do some research on that if it's
Yeah, I mean, even if you take and you put a whole chicken into a crock pot and you let it cook all day, you can have your chicken, your pulled chicken, but then you do have that broth that you can make a soup out of for sure. So you could do like one of the soups that I like to make is chicken and cauliflower soup, rice cauliflower. I made it at the beach retreat, and I mean, it was gone. It was gone in a second.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Yeah, and it does. The thing about chicken and chicken broth, I mean, if you've grown up, I grew up eating Campbell's chicken noodle soup because they said that it makes you feel better, but there is actually research that says that chicken broth is healing to your body. So there's that. Okay, anybody else want to share?
I'll share. I know what's happened. My emotional pillar is really overwhelmed right now. I think I've shared that some grief, is kind of shown up for me in losing my mother and everything about that. And that really has affected it has affected my mental and even my spiritual. I was sharing that even Wednesday, at our Purple Life prayer group in the morning, just before that started, I was laying in bed and I said, I'm just so tired. I don't want to get up. I'm not going to get on the call. I just want to lay here. So I really had to fight to get up. And the good news was that I did get up, and it was a really good call. And I said, Lord, thank you, for giving me some of your strength to get me out of bed, because it was really good.
Yeah.
So I am finding that to be very challenging, but I do know that as long as I continue leaning into the Lord, He's giving me that strength. I know that's where I need to go to get me where I need to be. And so that's what I keep doing. But it's and then that's where the crunchy comes in, where the grief, the sadness starts to build anxiety and stress, and then I just want to crunch and kind of relieve that a little bit. But anyway, so that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, it just comes down to this. All four of these pillars they are connected and have impact on each other. And we're going to continue talking about this tomorrow. So I want to go over the plan with you that's coming up, but I do want to have you doing some processing of this today as you look at these four pillars. I want you to notice how these are playing on each other for you today. So, for example, let's say that, if I think about my day yesterday I had so many things that needed to be done right then. And I felt like I was drowning. So from a mental standpoint, my mental processing, sometimes when that happens, I can take on a lot, but when I've reached my limit, my brain just kind of shuts down, says, you can't do anymore. You got to stop, right? And so that just going through that mental roller coaster had an impact on me physically. I did feel exhausted just from my mind just trying to race and hurry and get it all done. And then my emotional state was, I was just feeling discouraged because I feel like I have to do everything. I feel like I have to complete everything before I end the day. And I was far from completion. Completion is a value of mine. So from an emotional standpoint, that brought me to a place of discouragement. And so the spiritual aspect, I could barely eke out a Lord help me. Right. So, what I want you to do today is just notice these things and see how they play on each other and what impact it has on you. And we'll revisit this tomorrow. So what I want to do right now is I know we're right at time, but I do want to do this 60-day guidebook to at least get you thinking about it. So we're on day 21, and day 24 is when we will be switching plans. All right. And so it's a completely different way of eating. For those of you who have been on this rodeo before, you know what to expect. We're basically going to go to a 3-meal-a-day plan. So we're going to go from 4 to 3. And we are going to do what we call the 50, 30, 20. So 50% of what we eat is going to be a protein. 50% of our food intake is going to be protein. 30% of our intake is going to be a high fat. And then veggies are going to be 20% of what we take in, okay? So what this means, some of the major changes that are coming about is that we're going to almost completely eliminate fruit, which is, for some people, that's a hard transition because we are replacing it with fat. But you can have occasional strawberries, blackberries, or blueberries because they're low glycemic, low sugar. And that's just occasionally. So we'll be doing no starchy carbs and no sugar. And so meat portion no larger than your hand. So on this, the one thing that helps us is the fact that we can have certain snacks in between the 3 meals. The truth is the more fat that you put into your diet on this plan, the less hungry you should actually feel. And that's where you start to see that it's really your behavioral patterns that are picking up. You may not be hungry, but your brain is saying, I want something to eat. And, to a degree, you can accommodate that if you keep on the plan, the foods on the plan. So I like to make this simple and think about it in easy terms. And the easy way to transition into this plan is you can still eat what you've been eating with your protein and your vegetables. You're just making sure that you're adding that fat. So this is where you can have avocados, which is one of my favorite staples. You can have the yolks in eggs, in all of your eggs. You can start to have beef summer sausage, which is one of my faves. It's a high fat, but you don't want to eat it all the time because it does have a lot of salt in it. You can have cottage cheese, ricotta, Greek yogurt, cream. You have all the veggies except for corn, yams, potatoes, carrots, and squash at this point. We can have squash really soon. You can start to have some seeds and like flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. Those aren't normally my jam. I don't really get into that. And you can have nuts except for peanuts, not peanuts just yet. You have butter, natural nut butter like almond butter. And you can have real cheese. So it's really just supplementing the plan that you've been on with something that's higher in fat. You're just adding that in. And then it's nice to have an afternoon snack of the nuts, so it helps with the crunchy. Yeah, so we're moving into this transition now. All right, so we'll talk more about the plan tomorrow and we'll answer any questions. Also, I would like for us to come prepared sharing one of your favorite meals that you have in this phase in the 50, 30, 20. And we'll share that with each other so that others can get ideas. All right, let me do a quick check here because looks like Lydia posted the chicken broth that she uses. All right. And Tamara had to head out. All right, ladies, well, that is all we have for today. So don't forget to do your reflection on 4 pillars and come prepared to share a meal that you like to have in this phase. All right, ladies, talk to you later. I'll see you soon, Catherine. All right, bye.
Bye.